Hey guys, so I have an exciting video for you today. As you probably can tell, it is going to be about Lethal Cosmetics. So I recently purchased the palette that Teresa is Dead created with Lethal Cosmetics. And originally I was going to order from Camera Ready Cosmetics, which is a US based retailer, and they have a much lower shipping threshold. Unfortunately, even though I set my alarm and everything, I think they had a very limited amount of palettes in stock. So long story short, I wasn't able to purchase from Camera Ready, but they did have the palette in stock on the Lethal website. And because Lethal has a much higher free shipping threshold because they are based in Germany, I decided to go ahead and pick up some other shadows and items from Lethal. So I'd been interested in them for a while, but I never really had a reason to kind of pull the trigger, so to speak. So this was the excuse I needed, I guess, to pick up some of their other shades. So if you follow Teresa's Dead, you have probably heard her refer to some palettes as like a basic Anne palette, which usually means that it's some sort of like neutral type palette. I'll provide a link and maybe a clip of one of her recent videos where I think she's like discussing 3 different kind of Anne palettes.
Why, hello, my little Anns.
I hope your day has been filled with clipping coupons and rearranging your linen closet. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 delicious Anne palettes that recently came out, and we're going to see which Anne reigns supreme.
It's not really meant to be a negative reference because Teresa does obviously enjoy color, but she also enjoys kind of the quote-unquote basic Anne palettes as well. So I thought to kind of lean into this Teresa's Dead Lethal collab, I would kind of create my own perfect Anne palette, Anne with an E even. And my middle name does happen to be Anne, so I don't know, kind of makes it a little bit more interesting for me that way. And I also was a huge Anne of Green Gables fan growing up. So we are going to unbox the items, and I'm going to try to create my perfect Anne with an E palette. So this palette on top, I did actually purchase from Camera Ready because by the time I figured out which single shades I wanted to purchase, this palette was sold out on the Lethal website. So I wanted to get this particular magnetic palette because it is a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that I did purchase directly from Lethal. So it's unique in that it has this kind of dual opening. It has a little window down here, so if you had multiple Lethal palettes, you could, see, if you had one that was more colorful and one that was more neutral, you could see at a glance which palette you were picking up. And then it also has a small mirror on the inside there. So you kind of get the best of both in terms of having a mirror if you want it, but then you also have a window. And this does say on the mirror here, it says all change starts with speaking your mind, which is, I guess, a nice little sentiment to include. It does have a cover on the mirror, and I believe there's also a plastic cover on this window. I did also purchase, by the way, from Camera Ready the gel liner in the shade Spectre from the Teresa's Dead collection. This doesn't have any kind of specific Teresa's Dead packaging or anything with it. I just thought I would quickly show you. It opens up in a really interesting way. It's like a single piece of paper, I guess, that kind of forms a box. And this is a nice bright blue shade that I actually wore on the 4th of July. And there will be a 4th of July Get Ready With Me coming up soon. So if you'd like to see this in action, make sure to subscribe and be on the lookout for that. I did also hold on to this little plastic cap that was covering the gel liner. I guess I'll just put it back on there so it stays as fresh as possible. So cute little gel liner. Yeah, it says keep cap firmly closed with the inner lid in place to prevent product from drying out. And this says easy roads rarely lead to places worth going. So a little bit of wisdom with your makeup. This is cruelty-free and vegan. It looks like it has a 6-month shelf life, and they are based in Berlin. Those are all the ingredients. Okay. So anyway, that is the liner. And this is the box that actually shipped from Lethal. It was like in an outer, I think, FedEx plastic mailer, but this was on the inside. So I don't know if you order from Europe or in Germany, if it'll just ship like this with a mailing label on it. But anyway, so if we open this, give you the true unboxing, there is a little card with all their socials and everything on it. And then thank you for your purchase. And there, I guess, is their team. It looks like they have about 12, maybe 13. So small little indie company. And then I really liked that they included this with the palette. I am thinking of doing a live brush swatch video of the Lethal is Dead palette, so if you are interested in that, let me know. But just to read this really quickly, it says, "Dear pumpkins, the time has come to fulfill a prophecy. It has been foretold that every 100 years there will be two forces that come together to fight the battle between good and evil. One, a garbage person, me, and the other, an innovative cosmetics company. After a few blood sacrifices and incantations, we bring you our collaboration. Lethal is Dead. So dust off your acid wash jeans and grab a comically large can of hairspray. If you want to be the sole survivor of your very own low-budget horror film, this is the palette for you. With love, Teresa." And it has her little logo and Lethal Cosmetics. Some people have been speculating what a kind of part 2 or follow-up palette might be, because this one has sold out. I think they are restocking it and doing pre-orders, but from what I can tell, it's been a very successful launch, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did a part 2. If you, again, watch Teresa's videos, I think her tagline is like, I forget exactly how it goes, but something like, "I am very much alive."
Welcome back. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive.
So I don't know if it's going to be something about being alive. It would be interesting if they did kind of an Anne with an E palette. But anyway, so I got 2 of these Synergy palettes, which have that same kind of slight geometric printing on them and their logo. And then this says, "Objects in mirror are braver than they appear," which is kind of fun. So just kind of your standard magnetic palette. And I'm assuming this has the same, yeah, same little phrasing there. Okay, so as you can see, I haven't actually kind of got into this yet. So I got a ton of single shadows, so I will put those to the side. And then as you can see, it looks like there's like some tissue paper, so we'll get rid of that box. And then this is the Teresa is Dead palette, very like eco-friendly packaging. So there she is. Again, this isn't the focus of the video, but I just wanted to quickly show this because it is the reason I purchased from Lethal. Teresa has been talking up Lethal for a long time. It says, "Don't look behind you," right there, which is ironic because the mirror is, you know, looking behind you. And those are the shades. So I wanted to use those shades on the 4th of July as well with the gel liner, but unfortunately I didn't get this until I think it was July 6th from Lethal. The camera ready order arrived much faster, so if you're choosing from which retailer to purchase or pre-order the palette, just keep in mind that I think you will probably get it faster from Camera Ready. So it looks like I purchased these on June 26th, which was the Saturday it launched. And I think I got my order from Lethal on July 6th. So anyway, just to let you know that. The Camera Ready order I also placed on June 26th. And I think that arrived on July 2nd. So not a huge disparity, but I just wanted to let you know that. Okay, so I'm not sure if I will be using this palette or one of these. Okay, so this will hold up to 12 eyeshadows, and this will hold up to 24 eyeshadows or 8 face powders. And they do have some other varieties of palettes, including ones that have like kind of a grid pattern where you can just pop in a shadow. But I went for the more kind of open design. Okay, so let's see what we have in here. I think the glare on that is going to annoy me. Okay, so lots of goodies. I will, I think, probably swatch all of these. But if you are curious about any of the other shades that I didn't pick up, Temptalia has some great swatches of a lot of the shadows. So it's been a little while since I ordered this. I don't think they say what these shades are in terms of their finish. So I'll just try to start separating them. So you can see I got a lot of shadows because, again, with the free shipping being at $150, it's kind of like you might as well just go for it. I think Teresa has a discount code that I was able to use, but it doesn't apply to her palette, I don't think, but anything else I think on their website you can use it on. Okay, so the Lethal is Dead palette retails for $37, which I think is a pretty good deal for 9 shadows. The individual shadows I think retail for $6. If you use the like custom shadow palette feature on their website, I think you do get a slight discount with that. But yeah, these are $6. And then I think I bought this blush separately and that was $14. And then I think these I included in a palette. So it kind of went to that total, and you can play around with it and kind of see how the different permutations kind of affect the price that you pay. Okay, so these are all face powders. Go ahead and get into these. This is the shade Nectar. And they just described this as a peach blush. Okay. It's interesting that it has this kind of fold out sort of system here. Kindness is a currency best spent lavishly. All right. So one thing I did want to take a look at, it looks like they do have Lethal Cosmetics and Nectar on the back. If you've watched any of my other videos kind of dealing with single shadows or removable pans, I always remark on whether there is a sticker or not, so I'm grateful that there is, so I don't have to worry about keeping track of it. So this is 5 grams, 24-month shelf life, made in Germany. This is the highlighter in Ionic. So I just got one blush, one highlighter, and one like contour shade. So this is a delicate ivory with rose quartz highlights. And it says, those who shine the brightest cast the longest shadows. So I don't know if all the highlighters had that saying and the blushes all had the same, but I was just curious if all the face powders were the same. Okay, so this, by the way, retails for $18 as a single. But like I said, when you put it into a palette, I think you get a slight discount. All right, so this is the shade Quartz. And this is the beige bronzer with cool undertones. So hopefully this isn't too dark for me. Kindness is a currency best spent lavishly. Okay, so that's repeat. So again, I don't know if they're random or what. Okay, so since I only have one of each of these, I know I will probably include them in my palette that I'm building. Okay, so let's swatch all of these. That's really pretty. So those are the 3 face powders. I will have to do a look with these so we can see kind of how they apply and blend on the skin. I don't have any kind of product or anything on my arm here. And I did want to swatch the like bronzer contour type shade against the Gucci bronzer in the shade 1, because this is my favorite like cool tone bronzer. So the Lethal one looks a little bit darker. So I think they have kind of a similar tone, but I think the Lethal is darker. Again, I don't know how it applies to the face. This, by the way, just the pan is $14 for the Lethal. And the Gucci, of course, I think is like 60 something. So as far as having like a pan that you can kind of create your own custom palette with, I think the Lethal is a nice option. Okay, so I'm just going to put all of these in here for now. Okay, so this is where we start kind of doing some maneuvering here. So I'm just gonna put this here. I know when I was building the palette, I was able to kind of use, I think, maybe just 2 products. I can't recall. But I was able to arrange these with the shadows. Okay, and of course I'm going to have a lot of fallout. Okay, so since these are all labeled on the back here, okay, this is interesting how this shadow is packaged. I think they're packaged well. It's just different. Okay, so this is the shade Serene. And it says, "This is the beginning of something great." Okay, so I might kind of speed through the unpackaging of all these shadows because that would probably take forever. So I will let you know the shade descriptions as I swatch them. Some of these stickers, by the way, do seem to be off a little bit or a lot, which is unfortunate, but if I peel it off, oops. It is fairly easy to kind of reposition those.
Juliet, you got me figured out. The arc of your body, paint me a masterpiece. The scratches on my back show that I did some time. Can't leave you by yourself. Touch yours, you right on mine.
So these are all the metallics or shimmer shades. And just wanted to quickly check. Okay, so you can see one of those shadows will kind of fit in between. So keep that in mind when we're figuring out exactly how many.
Juliet, oh, Juliet.
so those are all the matte shades. So as you can tell from the overhead here, I have quite fair skin, so I'm definitely kind of taking that into account and selecting shades. And I kind of went more neutral, leaning cool probably. Okay, so that's kind of a rough, this one's a little bit warmer maybe. I don't know. But that's a rough kind of gradient. Okay, so this is probably going to get a bit messy. You can see all of the packaging here, and they did all say the same thing if you were curious. So there's one shade that I absolutely have to include in my Perfect and with an E palette, and that is the shade, not that one, this one, which is Kindred. So if you are a fan of Anne of Green Gables, you will know that Anne always refers to people, or some people anyway, as being kindred spirits. So that is a must, and I think it also goes nicely with the blush shade here. So I'll just stick that in there for now. It's a really pretty kind of high shine metallic peach. I think, let's see, I guess I'll stick with the metallics for now. This is the shade Arcade. Kindred, by the way, they call a peach gold duochrome with a sparkling metallic finish. And this is the shade Arcade. They call it a light peached gold green duochrome with a sparkling metallic finish. These do feel like on the chunkier side, so just keep that in mind. It's really pretty. Okay, let's see. Okay, so since I am trying to kind of build a certain look, I might kind of try to stick in this like peach family. This next one is called Acolyte. I do appreciate their shade names, they're very unique. So Acolyte is a rose gold with a metallic finish. That one's very pretty as well. Let's see what this one is. This one is Limbo, and this is a champagne with a sparkling metallic finish. Don't think the camera is quite doing these justice. Okay. Let's check out this one. This one is Nymph. This is an ivory with silver highlights and a metallic finish. I'm going to have to force myself to leave room for mattes here. Okay, this one is Incarnate. This is a soft, dusty pink with a metallic finish. I think these two would be really pretty together. I might put this one to the side. I don't know if I need that one in this palette that I'm building. That's a very pretty color. Okay, this one is Symbiosis, and this one is, let's see here, bronze with a metallic finish. I mean, that's like liquid metal. Again, very pretty shade, but I don't know if it kind of fits in with this color story as much. This one is Lithium, and this one is taupe with a metallic finish. That could be really pretty because I think it has a little bit of like a peachy undertone to it. I'm getting stuff on my arm. So I think that could be a nice way to kind of deepen up the look. So I have 3 more kind of light metallic shades to swatch. Okay, so this one is, let's see, Astral. And this is an iridescent white with violet and blue reflections and a metallic finish. It feels a little bit drier. Wow, that is really bright. I think I'm gonna put that one to one side. Okay, this one is Idol, and this one is iridescent white with green, blue, and pink reflections and a metallic finish. Again, I think I get like the kind of lighter brightening shades that I want with these two. So I think I might put that one off to the side. What haven't I swatched? Serene, I guess. Serene is iridescent white with gold reflections and a pearlescent finish. This one isn't kind of as high impact. Okay, I think I might be good with those still. So I'll give you one more look of all of the metallics. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these in the palette. Be super anal here and get all the embossing to go the same way. Okay, so they basically fit 4 down, and this will fit . Okay, so those are my metallic shades. There is a little bit of room to kind of maneuver the pans, like they're not like super kind of, you know, back to back. And they do have a little bit of a gap here. This is quite a strong magnet in the pan, which I guess is what you want, but okay, so getting into matte shades. 2 of these face pans will fit that way. And just for the sake of, I might have to actually go back on the computer to figure out like how I was able to arrange it. Okay. But we have at least, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 mattes we can put in here, and I have, I have 10. So let's see which ones we want to include. Okay, so this first one here, this is had a little bit of a sparkle on it. This is the shade Frequency. Okay, so this is just a white with a matte finish. So obviously not the most exciting shade, but it does feel pretty creamy. And I think it's often just helpful to have a white shade. I'll probably include this one because it's the darkest one I have. This is Nocturnal, and this is charred wood with a matte finish. So it doesn't feel chalky at all, which is nice. Okay, so we'll include that one. It's a little bit more of a cool tone brown. And then this one is a little bit warmer. This is Kindlewood, and this is a chocolate brown, the matte finish. So kind of the same depth almost. I mean, this one's a little bit lighter, but you can see the difference in tone there. So it's nice to be able to go either warm or cool. Okay, so next up, I think this cream shade, this is Pilgrim. This reminds me of Little Women, Pilgrim's Progress. This is ivory with pink undertones and a matte finish. That's basically my skin tone, so that'll be a nice like blending out shade. All right, so there's all the mid-tones I have left. Okay, so two of these, well, three of these I guess are a little bit more cool toned. Okay, so let's see this one. This is Archetype, and this is a taupe with a matte finish. Kind of has a pinkiness to it, I think. I think that one's a maybe. Next up we have Midway, which is beige with neutral undertones. Also a really nice shade. I think I might probably include that one. This one is Delirium. This is warm beige with a matte finish. That might go well with some of those peachy tones. Okay, next up we have Lore, and they call this a sand brown. Not making it easy on me, I tell you that. Okay, so the last two we have Unearthed, which is beige with gray undertones. Okay, that is super kind of gray toned. I like it, I just don't know if it's kind of what I want in the palette. And the last one is Calcination. And this is cool toned beige with pink undertones. So I think I have room for 3 in this range. So I need to exclude 3. So we already excluded this one. All right, since it's summer, I think I'll keep this one out for now. A little bit more cool toned. So I think I just excluded these 2. So now I have these 4. I think I'm going to take out this Lore shade. I think it's this one. Because I think these 2 shades kind of work the same way that one would in terms of adding some warmth.
Teach me what I don't know, my love.
Okay, so I think that's the best way I know how to organize the palette. You can see I have the 3 face powders, I have these darker mattes, I have these lighter and mid-tone mattes, and then I have all the shimmers and metallics over there. And I'll probably just kind of play around a little bit with how they're all kind of fitting in there. All right, so there we have it. That is my basic and with an E palette. Like I said, stay tuned and I will try to create a look with these, especially that Kindred shade. But let's go ahead and close that up for now. And then I will just put all of the leftover shades in here for now. This one is also a little bit off. Okay, so that one you can see it's leaving some residue. That was kind of what I was worried about if I waited, because I think stickers are often easier to reposition if they're kind of fresh. I almost wish they would make the stickers like a few millimeters smaller so that it was a little bit easier to get them fully on the pan. But anyway, I do appreciate that they have stickers. Okay, so that is my kind of, what's the word? Overflow palette. But anyway, here we have my Anne with an E palette. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you will subscribe if you haven't done so already. I hope you guys are all staying very safe and healthy out there, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.